Welcome, sentient beings from all known universes and beyond. It's time to activate your cranial downlinks and prepare to receive a raft of discussion on a cosmic ocean of science fiction and fantasy topics, interviews with local area genre devotees, and insightful prognostication by our soothsayers of science fiction, our forecasters of fantasy, and any other beings that happen to get caught in our gravity well. This is the Galactic Driftwood Podcast.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Galactic Driftwood Podcast. I'm Bill.
I'm Linda.
I'm Seth.
Jenna.
Liberty and freedom. I'm Chris.
And that
democracy.
and that brings us to the meat of the episode. We're going to be talking about Helldivers, or actually, Seth is going to kind of take us through that. So, Seth, let me turn it over to you. This looks like a pretty hilarious new game.
Are you punks ready to spread managed democracy through the galaxy? Are you ready to fight the bugs on their planets and make their planets our planets and make the bugs into oil?
Sounds nifty. Let's go.
Bugs into oil. That sounds...
Are you also ready to fight the automatons at the exact same time? Which is definitely not a problem that our government itself created.
Go on.
Seth, can you move your mic a little closer?
Are you sure with the voice that I'm doing?
Yes.
Well then, if you're ready to die in about 5 seconds flat, you're ready to join the Helldivers. Please.
Why would I want to die in 5 seconds flat?
Because it's hilarious and it serves democracy.
Managed democracy.
Please stand by for this very important public service announcement.
Okay. Standing by.
Please observe the following patriotic service announcement. Deviations in attention will be considered treason.
Super Earth, our home. Prosperity. Liberty. Hi there. Democracy. Our way of life. Oh, hello. But freedom doesn't come free.
No! Sweet liberty! No!
Look familiar? Scenes like these are happening all over the galaxy right now. You could be next. That is, unless you make the most important decision of your life. Prove to yourself that you have the strength and the courage to be free. Join the Helldivers. Become part of an elite peacekeeping force. See exotic new life forms. And spread managed democracy throughout the galaxy. Become a hero. Become a legend. Become a Helldiver.
All right, then. I'm ready to sign up.
I mean, just scream Starship Troopers.
Oh,
Love
I think
it.
we lost Seth.
Yeah, it's exactly what I said. It's a bit of Starship Troopers, and oddly enough, watching the intro, the preview again this time, the main guy almost kind of reminds me of Ben Stiller, who plays White Goodman in Dodgeball.
Yeah. Yes.
He's got that charismatic thing about him. So
That voice felt very familiar.
yeah.
So I have recently started playing this game, and it is fantastic, and I love every little thing about it. As you see, you're a Helldiver in the game. Only you are fighting in this two-front war between the bugs, the Terminids, and the automatons, with potentially other factions in the galaxy getting ready. But like it's a nice third-person shooter. It's squad-oriented, so it's co-op. So you guys are just helping each other out. It's just a really fun game to get on and play with friends. But a lot of the real fun comes from the game's like storytelling and the lore behind the game. Because as you can see from the intro, it's just flat out propaganda, and you might like really recognize the look from Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
So what they did with this game is they were like, Starship Troopers is just a little too subtle. And we're just going to feature it like this.
Mm-hmm.
And so there aren't any story missions. The storytelling is all done through what you encounter out on the battlefield and the orders that you get from Super Earth. Because there are they kind of have like battles and things that are being waged, and Super Earth will give you a major order every few days as to what direction the war is going. And so a couple weeks ago, the automatons were making a major push in from their side of the galaxy, and the major order was, okay, we need oil to fight the automatons. Go kill 2 billion bugs, because we use the bugs to make oil. And so that's the kind of thing that'll happen, or the kind of major orders that get passed down from the central government. And kind of an example of the storytelling, a few months ago, Super Earth had us set up a bunch of make what would they called shield planets against the bugs, where we set up massive chemical spewing towers that spewed out something called termicide that was supposed to reduce their breeding numbers to basically zero. And that's why they were the shield planets. They weren't gonna be able to get past there from Earth because they couldn't breed on those planets and make it past. Fast forward to last week, where we got a new major order that said the bugs have adapted to the termicide. They're now reproducing uncontrollably. This definitely wasn't our fault, but we've killed the scientists responsible. Please go and shut off the towers now before we're overrun.
So, I mean, this is the perfect, just like joking bit of cynical political gaming that you need for an election year.
Uh-huh.
I feel like this might be driving some of the popularity. What you're saying in that little preview.
But yeah, everyone is fully bought into this in the game, and like the more you consider the realities of the game, the funnier it is, because your Helldiver, the guy you take through basic training, and you go through a 15 minutes basic training, which is the basic video game tutorial level, but it's basic training for your trooper, where you're dropped off alone at this training facility with Major General Brash, the most patriotic and grizzled hero of the wars, which is what he tells you. And he's like, I'm not easy to impress, trooper. Now get on in there. And you do the first very simple thing, and he's like, you've managed to impress me. And it just keeps going through that with you doing the most simple things and him going, amazing. You truly are humanity's newest, brightest hope.
And what I've seen from the gameplay, I haven't played it yet myself. And the funny thing is I own Helldivers 1, and I've still not played that game either, even though I have it in my Steam library. But in the gameplay I've watched, there's commentary that happens too while you're fighting. That's just along the same mentality. Like if you get blown up by a grenade, friendly fire or whatever, mistakenly, your guy might go, "Oh, sweet liberty, my arm!" because it got like blown off or whatever. And there's commentary throughout the whole gameplay, which also seems seems to enrich the experience, so to speak. So
yeah,
pretty good.
But you get done with your 15 minutes of training, and then they put you in a little capsule that is basically a rocket made of these capsules of other Helldivers and shoot you into space. They load that onto a ship like a clip, because whenever you go on a mission, your Helldiver gets into a bullet and they fire you at the planet like a gun. And
doesn't sound like a comfortable re-entry.
And then, your guy, depending on how good a player you are, or how far you make it into or how hard a mission you're on, will survive somewhere between 10 seconds and the whole way through, depending on what you did. But your guy's not going to live. He's not going to live for long. And when he dies, your squad mates throw down a reinforcement request, and your ship shoots down another little guy. You may think this is the same guy, but no, this is just another guy dressed the same. So
what's a typical mission like then?
Usually you'll have one or two objectives. Harder missions, they add in more objectives and more things, but usually you'll be going around an enemy emplacement. Like if you're fighting the bugs, you'll be taking out some bug nests. As just kind of fighting the enemies. They have hives that you have to clear as you finish out missions and whatnot. But you'll be doing things like reactivating a broken facility, or getting crucial information and uploading it. There's all sorts of mission types. Right now, as I was saying, some of the bug missions are you have to deactivate these towers that are spewing out the termicide that's making them crazy. And those missions suck. I don't like them.
What sucks about them?
It's a pain in the butt to play them, because you have to find the towers to turn off, and then the whole time you've got bugs coming out of nowhere, and they're mutated and crazy.
Difficulty level high.
And to add to all of that, you have environmental crap that can be going on, because there's there might be fog making visibility difficult. You might be in a blizzard, or what I personally hate the most, fire tornadoes.
Oh, hooray!
Sentient fire tornadoes, or at least seemingly sentient fire tornadoes, because they follow you. The fire tornadoes actively chase you. They are almost entirely silent, so they can just sneak up on you. And the game itself has systems in place to ratchet up the tension at certain times. So fire tornadoes will also just appear when you're attempting to extract, because once you finish the mission, you have to get out again to get full points, where they'll send down a little ship and you've got to get on while enemy waves are incoming. Yes, fire tornadoes. Screw those fire tornadoes. I hate them.
Yeah, I haven't seen a clip with the fire tornadoes, but I saw a clip where these guys had just completed a mission and they had to back into an area and kind of hold down the fort while they waited for the ship to come in so they could evac, which was pretty cool. But then they started getting wave after wave of these monsters coming. I've also seen some of the instances where you mentioned about visibility and fog. So you could be like running through an area and you can't see a monster till it's practically in your face, kind of thing. It's pretty nuts. But
also, like, part of the invisible storytelling, why does humanity want planets where fire tornadoes happen. And follow whoever they're going after. Like, what There is one planet that I have fought on so many times, and I hate it so much. The planet's name is Hellmire.
G-
Why would you go there?
Hellmire.
Yeah.
What do we want there?
Diamonds. Or
Resources.
there's probably some liquid that like keeps you young and beautiful forever that the rich want.
Well, what it is that we grind up the bug bodies into what's called E710, which is our oil.
Oh, gross.
So harvesting resources
Yeah, but
in the worst possible way.
Also, like in the invisible storytelling, when your guy, anytime one of your guys comes back on the ship, there's like a few other people on your ship, and they will say things to you like, "You truly are one of Liberty's greatest heroes," or just other things that are just so obviously just like patting your head and being like, "Oh, you're a good boy." And I've started like thinking to myself, like, they say that to about 50 people a day. Like, the guy comes out of the cryo tube, he goes onto the bridge, gets in the little bullet, and gets shot down on the planet, and they're like, okay, it'll be about 5 minutes until the next one comes out. Coffee, everyone.
Right? Oh my god.
I mean, sure the scientists and like the leaders who maintain them, these guys are like, they have a psychological protocol if this is the type of future they're living in.
Mm-hmm.
No kidding. So
this is the second one in the Helldivers series?
Yeah, so there was a first one that I was aware of. I just never booted it up to play it. And it was similar in the third-person view, except it was more, it played more like your Diablo or whatever in terms of your viewpoint in it. So it wasn't as close to like this third-person first shooter type view. This was more playing above. I have some friends that played that one a little bit, but it still kind of went fairly under the radar until the second one came out.
Tell me what these numbers mean.
Mostly.
Then do you have to buy your own?
Pricing, it looks like.
Yeah, so what you're looking at is actually the premium item store that it's got some amount of DLC that's kind of popular in games like this. Kind of something called a battle pass is what it's usually called, where you will basically buy a battle pass for $10, and then as you play, you unlock different cosmetics and stuff from the battle pass. So these are just different cosmetics that you can have in the game. They have a minimal effect on gameplay, mostly just letting you customize your guys so that they can look however you want them to. So
they sell you the game, and then they can sell you other cool stuff as the game progresses?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty common in most newer games that have DLC.
It's actually completely standard, and Helldivers is actually way, way better than a whole lot of them because they don't push it at all. You get
like the games that do the loot boxes, or you can't really advance unless you throw more money at it.
They don't push these war bonds at all, and you also get enough so that you buy them with something called super credits, but you legitimately get enough as you play to buy them just for free.
I mean,
which is how it should be.
Yeah, I hate the stuff that you buy and it impacts gameplay versus the stuff that is more cosmetic, but it just gives a cooler feature. I mean,
they have guns in there that affect gameplay, and some of them are pretty cool. But like I said, is if you just keep playing the game, you will gather enough resources to usually be able to unlock one at a natural time when you need it in gameplay. About the only reason you'd buy one is that you want it early. And I did, because I thought part of the reason was I thought the game was really good. And it's only a $40 game, which
it's actually pretty relatively inexpensive.
Yeah, like most games of this type are around $60 or $70.
Yeah. Last couple of games I bought were $70. Thankfully, though, the last couple I bought had no additional purchases with them. But the last couple, I play a lot of racing sim games. A lot of those will do the loot boxes, or you can only get these cars if you throw any more money at it. And you could spend hundreds of dollars. I mean, I don't, but you could spend hundreds of dollars just obtaining items in the game. And I want to say one of the Star Wars that came out in recent years, one of their games or whatever kind of crash and burn on that, because they had a lot of exclusive items and stuff that you were supposed to be able to earn for free, but it was one of those things you would have had to throw unrealistic, like hundreds of hours into it in order to obtain, or thousands of hours. And so it was realistically like impossible. And so the only way to obtain those items was just to buy them. And that mechanic was just kind of broken. And a lot of games get a lot of pushback nowadays, or will fail because of economic point systems built in like that. So this one doesn't sound too bad. A lot of people just want cosmetic stuff, or if they're really vested in the game, a couple of extra things, but you don't need to make it a thing where you can make thousands off of any particular player off of content. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. And like making it even better is that like I bought one of the bonus war bonds, and it comes with more like super credits. So it like puts me further along the way to getting the next one without having to spend money.
I mean, I saw a really good online comic that I wish I could cite to give them credit here, but it's like they brought up the two really good points. You know, yeah, people should be working to get the earning the ability to advance in the game without just shortcutting it and paying. But then again, when you're working full time and like this is your happy place, that maybe if you're lucky you get a couple hours a week, and you just want to skip ahead to the good stuff, and you know that's your money, you should have the right to just keep being in your happy place. So I get both sides of the argument.
Yeah, and like you can't buy anything that actually advances your power. Like the guns in these DLC packs are different, but they're not game breaking. They don't give you an edge. And if you're actively using them and you die, you drop them and your teammates can pick them up.
Oh.
Well, I mean, your next guy comes down with a fresh set, so it's kind of a way to let people try new things.
Oh, that's cool.
Now, is it possible to kill other members of your own squad?
Very possible.
Friendly fire is definitely a thing.
Really?
Grenades and stuff like that, you have to be like, yo, you know, I have just launched a grenade. You're not going to want to be there right now.
Well, it's not even just launched a grenade. It's so part of the gameplay, like this company that made it, Team 17, has made other games that have basically made friendly fire part of the experience. And the chaos is part of the fun. And so your guys aren't just shooting their guns. You're as you go, you're also unlocking new abilities of your ship. So you can call down an orbital bombardment. You have an eagle that you can equip with different things. That you can call in a cluster bomb, or something I just unlocked, which is the orbital laser. And it does not check if any of your allies are in, or yourself are anywhere near where one of those things are going to go off. So you basically have to enter in a little code on your pad, which is really fun to try and do when bugs are trying to eat you, let me tell you. You have to enter in like a little Konami code, and you'll arm a little ball. You throw the ball, and wherever the ball hits is that's where whatever's going to happen happens. And so if one of your guys, like you hear the little twing noise of that thing going off, and you hear them say run, you usually have to run really fast, because they might have just sent a 500-kilogram bomb 5 feet from your current position.
Yeah.
Or they arm it, and then they die, and they don't get to throw it, and then...
Or it bounces off a hard surface and comes right back at you. or get stuck on a bug, which I've seen happen, who's like chasing you.
Oh my god.
Good times.
So with this game being released, it wasn't all rainbows, right? And so we had Helldivers 1, which kind of went under the radar. Then Helldivers 2 came out. And you can speak a bit more about this stuff, but it was way more popular than intended, but that also came then with some drawbacks. It wasn't intended.
Yeah, so basically they were expecting numbers similar to Helldivers 1. Basically the community who had been expecting this new game. And so they're like, okay, well, Helldivers 1 wasn't that big of a hit, so here's what we can expect. And then it's just such a memeable game that it went viral almost immediately, and their servers went down. And I think they had an initial during the first couple weeks, they started doing limiting the number of people who could play and setting up a queue. So you'd wait a certain amount. You'd have to wait to get in, get to play a few missions, get picked. But I mean, the problems haven't been the problems experienced with the game were entirely because it was too popular too quickly, and they needed to spin up more servers, which they now have. And there's really not much in the terms of there's no wait at all. You freely play.
But why was it so much more popular than Helldivers 1?
It might be because, as Chris said, they switched it from a top-down shooter to a third-person shooter. So in Helldivers 1, you were looking down at the battlefield like if you were standing over your kitchen table and you'd see your little guys running around. And
For me, I prefer that type of gameplay, but most people prefer the new type of gameplay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and Helldivers 2 is a lot more in line with the other popular, they're called extraction shooters, but most of them are third person, that'll switch to first person when you're aiming down the gun, and so it's a lot more people can just slip right into it.
I see.
They've got the gaming skills already good to go for that, whereas even myself, I'm less drawn to that top-down shooter style because it gets that kind of style gets samey really quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a really, like I said, the tutorial mission, 15 minutes, and you're fighting with people in the galaxy. There's not much in the way of skill limit. So like a newbie playing his first mission like me can have just as much fun as someone who's been going at it since launch, and I can even play with them if I want, if I'm willing to go into the harder difficulty missions that they are. There's no barrier to entry at all.
And I think that's kind of key is sometimes you hit a gem with some games, right? They're just very popular in terms of you can play with it, especially if it's co-op right out the gate. A lot of recent co-op games in recent years, they didn't launch as co-op, and they added on to the game to make it co-op after its release. This one right out the gate, I believe, was co-op, and it just was fun. It was simple. You're what you need to do. Get on a planet, kill a bunch of things with your friends. And every once in a while, you shoot and you blow up your own team members because friendly fire can be just as much fun as anything else. So I think that fun aspect of it was kind of a big factor from what I've seen. After watching some more gameplay, I'd be semi-interested. But for me, gameplay-wise, I prefer the version of Helldivers 1, where it's more top-down in terms of view. But again, it looks just as good doing the other one. So this one gets you a little bit more up close and personal, so to speak, on that experience. And there's a lot more people that appreciate that. So I think there was a miss on, their calculations in terms of how popular it would be or how many people would want it, given the fact that they changed a key component and it's almost like a completely different game. I mean, they could have rehashed most of what they did in Helldivers 1, changed the perspective, and it's that much more fun. And so, yeah, but it looks pretty great, honestly. I think I'm surprised the popularity bandwagon is still going with it. So I've had poor experiences too with games that released that had server capacity issues. Even a few years ago, I was gifted by a friend of mine a Dragon Ball Z game that was open world and everything, but you can only have so many people on the servers. The first 30, 60 days of the game, I could be sitting in a queue for a half hour, 45 minutes waiting just to get logged in, and it ruined it for me. So I only played it for like a couple of months, and I was kind of done because it just wasn't ready at launch. And so that's a huge risk that some take, and I get that they were kind of caught off guard with it, but it does sound like it's still very much popular, and they kind of reined things in and got it to where it functions pretty well.
Yeah,
So
I think it's
a game.
I think it's still enjoying so much popularity, and it's going to continue to for a while, because it's so easy for new people to join in, and for the existing community of people to then be able, like, if you've been playing and you finally convince your friend to come in, he's not going to be bored because you're a level 50 and like the missions aren't any fun for him because he's so underpowered that he can't do anything. All you have to do to make it a fun experience for him is to shift it back to an easy mission, and then like not bring your most powerful stuff, and you've got the same kind of experience. Like, they can still have fun. You're still having fun too because you're still like shooting bugs or robots. You're like, and you can explore maps and find all the things on the maps. You'll find messages from dissidents in some places. You'll run across patriotic beer. There's just all sorts of little things sprinkled that make matches fun to play. But also, I think it's gonna stick around and be fun for a while because you aren't necessarily forced into some sort of end game grind. You can find a play style that's fun for you, and you can keep enjoying it. Every now and again, I like setting it on easy and just running some solo missions because it's like that's fun for me. Or playing on medium with some newbies, also fun. Going into hard, sometimes a little less fun because you die a lot more.
Is that where you get the fire tornadoes?
I have stopped playing on planets with fire tornadoes.
Seth has decided not for him.
Yeah.
And the robots can have those planets.
All right. So you give it 2 thumbs up then?
Yeah.
All right.
It is a great time that has some really, really funny, subtle storytelling to it.
Nice.
It's kind of like, hey, what if we all did buy into this hyper-American, hyper-patriotic stuff?
Right.
And it also is a little bit more honest of a shooter, because like Call of Duty, any of these games, you're playing the same guy who can die and comes back again and again and again in a match. This one, you're at least acknowledging that, no, you are churning through these frat boys that we convinced to sign up and not get paid because they're patriotic.
Oh, God.
All right. Sounds good. Well, sounds like definitely a game to check out then.
It's on major consoles and PC.
All right. Well, if you guys are playing it already, please let us know in the comments what you think about the game. If you're like playing it, or if you don't like playing it, we'd like to hear that too.
I'm sorry, it's on PlayStation 5, not Xbox. Sorry, Jenna.
I'm fine. I got plenty to keep me busy on Xbox.
All right, folks. Well, thanks for tuning in. We will catch you next time on another episode of the Galactic Driftwood Podcast. Till then, have a great week, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye. Hang on. I thought I was prepared, and then I wasn't. All right. Bye-bye.
Later.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Galactic Driftwood Podcast. For more information and past episodes, please please visit our website at galacticdriftwood.space or subscribe to us on YouTube. And now, please deactivate your cranial downlinks, collect your towels, and be sure to watch your step as you exit our gravity well.